everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tube, or welcome back if this is your 17th Season 2 Walker episode review. Hope you had a decent month. It's been a very, very long month for me. Things happen, a lot of stuff happened. But we have some good news returning for our final stretch of Walker content for this television season. Like last time I mentioned, we've been renewed for the third season, as well as our brand new spin-off show, Walker Independence, has been picked up to series as well, which is, yes, we will be reviewing every episode of Walker Independent when it comes out this fall, only on the CW. So here's the thing. There's going to be an update at some point later this month with what the second half of the year is going to look like for us. But generally speaking, right now for the Walker side of things, because both Walker and Walker Independence are airing on the same night. However, since we are agreeing to review both shows, both episode reviews will not come on Thursday. You will be getting the main show, this review series, every Friday morning. Like normally we've been doing for the last 2 years. But then you will get Walker Independence episode reviews on Saturdays. It's not to say Walker Independence isn't as important, but it's just that the parent show always goes first. Like, the rookie's going to go before the rookie feds. I know those two are on completely different nights, but I'm just saying, like, thematically, it makes sense for Walker to go first. So they will both be on the same night. It'll be a Walker double pack. I can't wait for it. It's going to be great. I haven't entirely figured out how the recording schedule is going to be 100%. And plus, I don't even know where I'm going to be socially or work-wise when we get to that point. But we'll figure it out, as always we do. But we will be reviewing both Walker shows now, next television season. So get ready for that. It's going to be way more work for me. I talked to George about our preliminary schedule for the fall already, and he's like, I don't know how you're going to do it, man. You crazy. Because I'll mention this again, but fun fact, originally when What's in the Tube as a show, as a concept started, I wanted to do 5 episode reviews a week, and George had to talk me out of it since like there was absolutely no way for year one for me to handle that much work. Well, which he was right. I'm still a little flaky on the whole 5 episode review weeks, but we'll figure it out. We will figure it out when we get there. But there'll be some conversations about it, so I'll let you guys know then. But however, today, this week, we're back. Walker is back for its final run of episodes for season 2. So we're going straight to the finale to the end of June. So get ready. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a whole lot of work. And I'm excited. I'm really, really excited to finally wrap up this season of Walker. It's been a long time coming. And, well, I mean, to be fair, all Walker seasons are long. They somehow made a traditional Walker season length in terms of like an average television schedule during the pandemic starting in January. So it can be done. It is achievable. But, we're at the end roads here. And for this week, this, again, like, I'm always surprised on how Walker does its emotional character episodes, as I like to call them, where it's not focusing on the bulk of the conflict, which is the Walker-Davison conflict. It's not focusing on that. It's focusing mainly on the characters again. And, we're giving updates on, like, where things are heading for the future. This was more about future sense of, like, where would these characters go? And it's only a select few. We don't get everyone this week. Grandpa and Grandma Walker, I'm assuming they're off banging on their second or third honeymoon, let's call it. So they're off the case this week. So it's just the Walker brothers, the kids, and Trey and the captain, and Cassie for a bit, and even Twyla. So we're and Jerry too. Like I mentioned, like, it's not the whole cast, and I just mentioned everyone except the grandparents. So I'm like, I apologize. But with this week, it was a great episode. It really was. I felt for the characters at times. This was mainly talking about the grief of love and how sometimes love is it can hurt. It can hurt a lot, and trust me, I've experienced some things in that field. I'm kind of an expert in that field. But I think this did the episode and the story well, and ironically, something I mentioned a couple months ago now, which I mean, Jesus, we're that far into the season, is coming back, and I'm like, yes, you didn't forget. Like, I knew it wasn't just me. I knew it wasn't me, and I knew it. Like, I knew it. Hashtag Joe was right, but I'll get to that more in the end. Let's go for the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Walker. So we begin at the temporary Walker complex. It's Cordell and Liam kind of getting groomed up, ready, because they both have prospectful days planned out for them. Walker is going to take Twyla around town. They kind of check off some rehabilitation items off her checklist, getting a new apartment, kind of like putting her life on the straight and narrow, not the criminal past she was with the Rodeo Kings. And Liam's got that date with Cassie's brother coming up, so they both have quite a little bit of experience in the romance field. Of course, Liam's a bit skeptical about Twyla because of her connection to Walker's past as Duke, as well as, you know, his current standings with Jerry, having just been like an official fresh breakup with her. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot to handle. And he's just telling Cordy, I don't know, man, I don't think you're ready for it. And, you know, maybe he was kind of anticipating Walker to kind of go through like a hookups phase after damn, I forgot his original wife's name. It's been so long. That's another problem. It's probably gonna come back to me at some point during the episode. But yeah, so Walker's like, he doesn't even believe himself. And to be honest, I don't even see Walker as a type. Walker looks like the attractive stud, the quiet stud that every woman would want to like wife up or hook up with. But he's just that's just not him. He's not that player. He's not. I'm pretty sure him trying to get with his wife was probably a challenge itself. So with that being said, no, he doesn't believe it'll happen. And ironically, I'm kind of the same way as well. I could be wrong though. I'm still young, as my boss keeps telling me time and time again. But you know, Cordell's just like set foot, like this is just a friendship. There ain't no benefits. I'm just helping her out. We're starting a brand new connection, a brand new relationship. We're seeing this go, and Liam's like, all right, sure, whatever you say, brother, whatever you say. This is also kind of a big day for Stella, since well, this is the start of senior week, so her senior year is coming to a close. She's kind of having to like now accept that she does have feelings for oh god, I already forgot. Colton. Yeah, somehow it came out of my name. Yeah, Colton. So she wants to officially be his girlfriend. Like, they want to start like actually be in a relationship. But of course, Stella's still in a relationship with her current boyfriend, who is honestly, again, this is the really sucky thing about these storylines, is that there is genuine interest in the partners to being in these relationships. It's just like sadly some unfortunate timing, or just, you know, I'm not so. I will admit that there are moments of stupidity with all the storylines. I will admit that, in terms of just, not in terms of the writing, I just mean in terms of the characters being stupid, because that is relatable. But it's kind of like it kind of sucks on the way it ends. Like, you wish it would happen, but there's a reason it didn't happen. You know, again, I'm an expert in this field, so. She knows she has to break up with him, and before she's able to have a breakup talk with him, her current boyfriend, he reveals to her, I got accepted to the same to your dream school as well, so we can be a couple together throughout college. And let me tell you that 75% of high school relationships do not last into college. So, just be mindful there. Be mindful there. So Stella decides to punt back her breakup speech for another day, because she doesn't want him to, like, you know, having to give him the news like, hey, I know you just applied and got accepted to this college of mine, but we're gonna break up. And I'm just like, damn, that would have sucked. But so now's not the time. Now is not the time. There's no really, like, there's no third plot this week. Well, actually, no, I lied, there is. Trey's over at the Ranger base and their workout gym, and he's talking to Cassie about, like, you know, that it's been a couple days already, so her and her brother have kind of like begun to mend the ship, you know, spending more time together, kind of recovering their old relationship, which is great for to hear that, you know, it's great that progress is being made on that front. Yeah, nothing really much there, but Cassie is in, like, I also remember, I forgot to mention, I think this happened last episode, it's been a while. Trey was offered the role of being an in-staff psychiatrist or therapist for the Rangers that would need kind of like Cassie Walker back then. So yeah, so he's still debating, and apparently, according to the captain, he has been approved to work there. However, as much as they wanted to do this part-time position, because they're so satisfied with Trey's progress on being in the job already, kind of like preliminary wise, they want him to be a full-time worker, which of course he works already for the school. So doing 2 full-time jobs is kind of gonna, like, really be difficult, you know, considering the fact he also is wanting to explore this new social life post Mickey. So there's a lot of big, you know, big question mark. You know, Trey doesn't want to abandon the kid, but this is a really good opportunity, and of course his relationship with James, and also Cordell is growing, and even Cassie is growing every day. So, and also to be around like actual adults that could take a punch, it would be nice to like have that as an environment. But of course, he cares about the kids as well. He doesn't want to like just up and abandon them as well. So, you can tell Trey has a heart. So he gives the captain like, hey, give me a couple days. Let me think about it. I'll come back to you, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see where my decision lies. Back and go over to James and Captain James. He's speaking with DA Daverson about a potential job for Twyla to participate in, because I think she works for either the DA's office or the police department. I'm not sure what her current job is. It's morely being the hot person in an undercover scene, I guess. Or doing the simple task. I think that's what it is. I really don't know. But she's working with them now, and so they got a lead on a new potential threat. This guy who's been suspiciously buying horses from horse auctions, but not doing anything with them. He just resells them, as well as he doesn't really race them as well. Because normally when you buy a horse, it's for for either grooming them or taking care of them or putting them in a race. But in this case, he's just immediately selling them back out. So it's kind of sus. So it's a little bit of an eye batty thing as well. So they're down there doing some undercover work, trying to figure it out. Cordell and Cassie are blending in with the audience, and Twyla's off trying to sneak into like the main computer room to figure out who this specific bidder is, and then trying to figure out what the connection is with them. Cordell knows there's something a little bit off on one of the riders, but we'll come back to that later. Twyla makes some connections. She figured out some things, but her cover gets blown already, which I'm like, Jesus Christ, that wasn't even 5 minutes and your cover's already blown. I'm not sure they hired the right person for the job. I really don't think so. All jokes aside, they called the operation. They started trying to get their way out of there, but Twyla gets called by a few of the henchmen, or maybe 2 henchmen and 1 big boss. So she's getting escorted out by them to have a conversation. let's say it like that. Cordell notices, starts to trail them, immediately tries to play a coup to try to distract them. It works. He and Cassie take down the henchman. Walker is about to shoot the main dude, but the main dude's pulled out a side piece to shoot out Twyla. I forgot exactly what happens in this scene because I had to deal with an offhand issue quickly for a second. So I believe Twyla does something badass, and they managed to take him down. They kind of throw him through a glass door when the police also show up. So, which was cool. It was a really cool takedown for them. It was like, one and done. I thought, like, is that it? Case is over? I thought this was going to be a whole freaking episode. But okay. I mean, I don't complain. I mean, the horse racing thing wasn't really my speed. Like, if we spent a whole episode, I mean, I would have been fine with it. But, like, again, Walker, always on the move. We're never, if it's unnecessary, we move to the next thing, which honestly, it works out great for me. So they're on their way back, and they're just talking about things, like how exciting it was. Kind of feels like the old days when it was Duke and Twyla, not Cordell and Twyla. And they're kind of, getting into the flirty move a little bit about, how, like, okay, it may not be the same parameters, but, it's still kind of the same energy, the same sexual chemistry, we'll call it. And yeah, this episode kind of confirmed, like, because I was even debating during season 1, which I didn't even know, because I don't know what the parameters are when you are undercover. Like, what can you do ethically? What can you do ethically? I think 22 Jump Street kind of solidified in my mind. You can do this thing, but you can't do this thing. So maybe that's the case here. So I thought that for Walker, there were some things you could not do when you're undercover. So they head back over to her place because it's too high the energy. They hook up. So that's great on that front. Back over at the school. Stella's talking to, oh damn, I forgot his name already. Colton, about the whole thing. Like, yeah, she is gonna break up with him, but because obviously there's some really strong feelings between them, and they want to really explore that. But they have to tie up loose ends, which reminds me of Spectacular Spider-Man's sadly series finale, where it's like, yeah, we're gonna break up with our partners, and Peter breaks up with Liz, but Gwen couldn't do it to Harry because his dad died. I apologize, but Spectacular Spider-Man's been out for 14 years. You had your chance. Anyway, so Stella gives him like thankfully they don't do anything like truly romantic. Stella just holds his hand for a little bit of a longer stay period, and sadly her boyfriend keeps watch a little bit. So when they're over at the gym to do kind of these senior activities, they're just having fun in the gym, and he gets a little jealous, so he throws a basketball at Colton. And at first, it's like, I'm sorry, dude. And I was like, okay, I think that's good. If I were going to get into a montage of like him just trying to harass him and annoy him a lot, it doesn't turn out to be like that. He throws it again on purpose, and it's like, yeah, we're about to break out into a fight. So they switch it back and forth in the fighting stance. So which each one of them getting on top of each other. Stella's kind of baffled just watching this whole thing, not really sure what to really do. Trey gets in there to intervene. He tries to pull off the other dude, but he actually not knees him. I forgot. Chops him. I forgot what the terminology is. I forgot this part. He hits him. He hits him in the tricep area into his jaw. And he gets kind of pissed off, which I was like, oh my god, is Trey's about to throw a punch? Is he about to throw a punch? He's like, no, he doesn't do it. He's just like, you two get outside right now, cool down. So they do so. He pulls them away to the empty classroom to talk about like why are you having these fights? Why are you doing this? And he eventually figures out like Stella Walker, of course. Why am I not surprised? Which I'm like, yeah, why is Stella getting all the guys? I mean, okay, I'm not gonna say anything about it. I'm not gonna say anything about it. So honestly, he's right. Like, you should not get into an argument over a girl. Like, it's really not worth it. So he tells them to make up. They do. Colton's allowed to head back home, but the other guy has to stay put. And they talk for a bit about like, you shouldn't really get emotional with your feelings over anyone you care about in terms of a romantic sense. It's not worth it. You don't want to jeopardize your life. You don't want to jeopardize your relationship with that person over for a stupid fight. And he admits that, but he says, like, I really do like her. Like, I really do care about her, but I do get the sense she likes him. So, like, what am I supposed to do? Because I like her, too. And he says it best, like, you know what? Sometimes this thing happens, you are with someone and in the moment you're happy, but then maybe it's just not meant to be and someone else pops in and that could be a better fit for that. It happens. It sucks for the other person, that like the third party in this case. It does suck, but at the end of the day, it's all about happiness. And thankfully, Stella did not do anything in terms of a cheating wise, which I'm like, that's great. So it kind of keeps the innocence alive. They're like, yeah, there is feeling, and she didn't pull the trigger on anything until she actually confirms the breakup with him. So it's like, it hurts the feeling, but it's better to just know that there is feelings there, but there isn't any sort of like physical cheating there, so it doesn't have to hurt that much more. And even Trey admits like, oh, don't worry, it gets better after high school. It does not get better after high school. It does not. Oh my god. I mean, some aspects get better, but some things get worse. So I'll just let you know about that, personally speaking. So they wrap it up there. Cordell and Twyla finish their little coitus section, and apparently their after coitus section conversation piece is just Cordell telling her about the story of the Daversons and their feud and the race, and even Twyla admits like, that's kind of weird. Your saddle just coincidentally happens to break. Like, your brand new saddle, which I don't even think is a year old yet, decides to break during that race. Kind of odd. And Cordell's like, you got a point there. But it's like he doesn't really pay mind to it because he's kind of really focused on in the moment thing. And Cordell definitely does see like, there is a thing with Twyla that he doesn't want to ignore because, as much as he likes Jerry, because there is that there's that familiarity that like, you don't have to like go through the stage of like trusting them or like getting to know them because you already know them. So like you could just jump into the relationship aspect of it from the get-go. But with Twyla, it's like, actually, before I go forward, with Jerry, the problem is that the whole Daverson connection and now currently with their current iffy, stance on like, her stance on the Walkers, Cordell and his mom included, it's kind of a little bit, it's just a little bit difficult for her to process right now. And every time he looks at her, he can only remember the Daversons because that's what she's associated with nowadays. And as much as he would really like to be with her, with Twyla, he doesn't have to think about that. It's kind of like it's new. It's like, I'm not gonna say like new is better, but I'm just saying like it's a fresher breath of air when you meet someone and you want to date someone that doesn't have any sort of connection to your past, because you get to start fresh with them. You don't have to like, it doesn't have to be burdened down by like past events or past trauma and stuff like that. So. That's what he sees benefit with Twyla, and then later on he comes back with like a bouquet of roses, ready to like, yeah, today's coitus was day 0. I hope tomorrow's official day 1 for us. And she's kind of iffy on first about it because again, even she's like, I don't know, like it's still a bit new, this whole like reconnection thing, which again they are moving a little bit too fast. But he's like, you know what, I'm ready to see where this goes. regardless of what it may be. Again, dude, you just broke up with Jerry less than a month ago. I mean, I think you could chill your boats a little bit. But she accepts, and they're kind of into the relationship, if that makes any sense. So I think I want to say yeah. So Cordell hits up the side stool first step. He talks to Jerry a little bit. Jerry kind of does bring up the whole like, hey, I saw you like having like kind of a close, intimate moment last time with Twilight. What's that about? And he doesn't really give a direct answer. He's just like, it's not like that. It's just we're just friends trying to be new friends. And she's like, look, I'm not jealous. You can do whoever you want. You can bang whoever you want. You know, we've been friends like way longer than that. It does not affect me. But I'm just saying that, you know, Twilight brings up a very sensitive part of your past now with your family that you're trying to move past in terms of like in this rebuilding stage with your parents, with your kids, with your brother. It's not really wise to be pursuing anything with her unless they are aware of what your intentions are. And he can't even answer that. Like, yeah, he hasn't told anyone besides his brother that, like, yeah, there's a bit of a potential here. Let's say it like that. He sees August, who's working in the back room today. So after work, he invites him out to dinner, has like a nice conversation point with him, and mentions like, yeah, like Twilight, she might be around for a while, and there might be a potential like we could be dating. And at first, August is like, well, they don't bring up the dating thing first. He just lets him know like, yeah, she's gonna be around for a while now, and she's like, cool, that's fine. It's like I mean, we're kind of fine right now. The family's kind of getting back to normal, with everything that happened. And yeah, it was kind of the low-key jab of like, I don't want you to date my dad. I really don't. Like, you still represent that very dark time in our family. And Twada sees that already. And she's like, oh, no, we're not dating. We're just friends. Don't worry about it. We talked about it. It wasn't in the cards. And it's like, oh, that's cool. That's fine. And Walker looks at her as like, I thought we were going to see where this would go. And she's like, if your son is already off the bat not with it, this isn't gonna work out. And honestly, she's right. I mean, okay, let me be fair here. When it comes to that, there's certain points where yes, you should let your family members have a say in terms of like who you want to date, because if it works out extremely well, they're going to have to be in their lives too. So that's another fact. Like, do they even want that person in their life? That's a thing they got to accept. At the end of the day, it is your choice. And if you feel like this is the one for you, they have to accept it. Otherwise, get out. But at the same time, I don't know. Like for me, it's a bit iffy because like, I do see the positive, like, having your family be already on the okay side of you dating someone, but at the same time, it shouldn't be the number one determiner. It really should. It should just be you guys' connection, because sometimes the family doesn't stick around that much when it comes to personal or private. It just doesn't stick around a lot. So, Cordell gets left alone at the food truck, just alone. Just his son left him. The girl he just banged left him. It's like, oh, I feel sorry for Cordell. So we cut to the next day, and Cordell heads over to her apartment to kind of check in on her. She's not there. She has one of the housemates kind of let him in, and he finds the entire apartment basically emptied out. So he thinks that she's on the run somewhere from her parole. So he puts out an APB for her. We're back at the school, and Stella does have the breakup talk with her guy at the moment, and yeah, he's bummed out. Like, yeah, it sucks that it's just not meant to be with them, but if it's like, hey, if she's happy, she's happy. And honestly, at the end of the day, that's a totally mature way to handle it. That's the mature response. Like, yes, it does suck when the person you want to be with doesn't see the same feelings for you anymore or never did, but you still care about them. And then it's like, okay, as long as you're happy with whoever and whatever you're doing, that's all that matters. That's all that matters, to be honest with you. So they hug, and they said maybe we can be friends down the line when we get to school next fall. And she's like, she's open to it. They hug it out, and it's great. She meets up with Colton after school, having kind of like a pseudo recreation of the season premiere fight that they had. And she tells him the news that like, yeah, they broke up, and she's now single, and she does like him a lot, and she really wants to see where this goes. And she's like a little worried, like, well, our family still has this feud. We're at peace right now. My grandpa's working with your dad. We technically have the same aunt. Your dad and my dad are kind of like okay right. They're at a stalemate right now. Our grandmas aren't trying to kill each other. So it's peace for now, but who knows how long this peace will last. But they both agree, which is kind of like what I was saying earlier before with Walker and Twyla, is like no matter what happens with their family, if they love each other, if they care about each other, that's all that matters, which is great. So they kiss, they like it, and they're like, yeah, now they're officially a couple. So that kind of wraps up that plot line. After the whole fight with Colton and the other dude, James goes to the to James. Yeah, so Trey goes to James and tells him that at the moment he will not take the position, but he at least wants to see the current class of seniors kind of head out. He wants to still be available for them if they need any sort of like advice going into this to this next chapter of their lives. So once they're done and that's it, then he's ready to like move on from the school and move full time with the Texas Rangers. James agrees with the proposal. He just has to run it for the board, but they're probably going to say yes because like it's only a couple weeks. Like the school's almost out, so there's no much of a difference to wait a couple more weeks. So they shake on it, they agree on it, but James has a little bit more to think of. You know, once Trey leaves, he takes out a Ranger badge and he calls up someone saying that I think I have a new candidate for a potential Texas Ranger. So I don't know if that means Trey. I really don't know, but it would be a cool thing. But who knows? Who knows what that might entail? Maybe next season. So and lastly, Cordell starts driving around. He finds Twyla with Cassie by a gas station. They're heading off to the next state over, or the next county over, because she requested a transfer, which I guess it means that she is working for the state or something. So she's able to transfer to another county if she wants to. She's basically been like, yeah, she knows that the thing with Cordell is going to be very difficult now that she doesn't want to pursue anything romantic with him, and that it might be a little bit difficult for her to like not resist temptation. So for her, it's better for her to just leave and just, you know, hope that things will work out as it may. I mean, Cordell's obviously, you know, he's saddened because he did want to see where this could go, but it just wasn't meant to be. Sadly, they hug it out and. He means like, yeah, for you, Duke was the guy for you. But for Cordell, it's now someone else's. It's not you. It sucks. It sucks. Like, you know, you try your best to make it work, but the energy isn't there anymore. Or the circumstances doesn't really work out for it to happen again. So it sucks. They hug it out. Cassie starts driving her off away while Cordell just sits back and watches. So we head back to the current Walker temporary patio space, and Cordell's drinking some beers. Liam comes back over, and they're catching up. You know, Liam's date went well with the guy. Not really much of a social outgoer. Kind of wanted to just stay in and have some ramen. Which honestly, I almost had ramen yesterday. Should have had that ramen. I should have had that ramen. So he tells her about Twyla. He said, I expected it, but next time, if you want to do whatever your heart desires, go for it. I'll support you all the way, which is, you know, great brotherly love right there. So they're ready to have a few beers, you know, kind of end up the night. But Cordell tells him that, you know, I'm a little bit sus about something. After I had sex with Twyla, she was telling me about this this weird saddle thing. Like, you know, it's a coincidence that the saddle happened to break on the day of the big race. And the other thing is that back when he was doing the stakeout with Twyla and Cassie, that one of the riders' saddles also broke and he fell off his horse. Very coincidental, say the least. So he's starting to have the theory that maybe one of the Davidsons had someone hire someone else to kind of tamper with the saddle so that by the time Cordell was about to finish the race, the saddle would break and he would lose. So that's where the theory starts. But of course, now it's time for the feud to re-emerge, because for them to start getting answers, they'll have to talk to some of the Davidsons, and of course these accusations will not sit them well. It will definitely not. So, but we'll find out about that next week, how that all ends up, because that was it for this week's episode of Walker. So in terms of the emotional scale for this episode, I thought it was great. Them dealing with the tackle of love and, you know, unrequited love, and just how things just don't always work out for it. It does suck. It really does suck. But it's meant to work out. Like the right person or the right motive, the right outcome for this is going to show eventually. It may not be right away, but maybe sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. But sometimes you just got to be patient and just wait it out, see what happens next. But at least in this moment, you know, Cordell it's sad that he isn't able to have that fresh start with Twyda, but he's aware of like what he needs to do next, and I do believe Jerry's still on his mind, but they have to get through this thing. But of course now we're going back into the feud with the Davisons. We'll see how they go. Stella and Colton. Oh man, they're gonna have a hell of a next 3 weeks. It's not gonna be memorable. And then once everyone else starts getting involved, oh man, it's gonna be worse. It's gonna be an all out blood feud. Trey being a Texas Ranger. It's an interesting thing. I don't know if that means Cassidy won't be sticking around any longer. That's still a big question if they're setting up Trey to be Walker's proper next partner. I don't hope that's the case. I do like Cassie as a character. I would like her to stick around for a full season 2 and see how her dynamic grows. Because right now, all they are is like the male and female equivalent of each other, and that's basically about it. It would be cool, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see. It's all a big up in the air thing that we'll figure out as the weeks progress how that leads up. But otherwise, I think that would be an interesting choice to kind of get Trey into that position. We'll see how that goes. But otherwise, I'm going to give this episode 2 thumbs up. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see how next week goes. But if you're unaware, this has been What's in the Tube from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the second season of Walker. If you want to know what we're doing normally in What's the Tube besides our Walker reviews, we're currently doing Under the Banner reviews as well as Tom Swift reviews each and every week after brand new episodes on the CW and on Hulu. So go check them out there. If you don't care about Walker, you're in luck. We'll be back for next week for another brand new episode review. Here's a little peek of the future schedule. Next 3 weeks, we have straight episode reviews till the finale. The week afterwards, once we're done with the season, we'll be going into our season 3 predictions, and then the week after that we'll be doing our spoiler-free season 2 review to wrap up this content year for Walker. So there's many more stuff to come. There's much more things to be talked about, so stay tuned for that. There's still much more Walker content to go. We should be good to about, I think, mid-July. So you're good there. We're still around for a little bit longer. But again, this has been What's the Tube from ActionX. Please subscribe to us on youtube.com/ActionX videos. Ring that bell for notification when our next episode reviews live. Please also follow us on social media to stay up to date with any sort of updates we may have for our channel, which also include the Collection Compass. And please also ring the bell. Did I say ring the bell? I think I think I said it already. But for all you members of the Texas Rangers, I'll see you all next week for the next episode review. But until then, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.